Should you start a private label brand on Amazon in 2025? It's the question that so many people are asking, whether they're wholesale sellers, online or retail arbitrage sellers, or people just looking to get into the Amazon space in general. I know it can be quite overwhelming and quite confusing sometimes to actually understand which is the best business model to use. In this video, I'm going to be giving you an in-depth reason as to why I think the pros of private label, the cons of private label, and when I think it's appropriate to start private label and what my opinions are on it. And this is coming from somebody who has been selling on Amazon now for almost 5 years. So if you haven't watched my channel before, my name is Jack Davey, and as I just mentioned, I've been selling on Amazon for about 4.5, 5 years now. And I've done millions and millions of pounds worth of sales, and I've been doing mainly brand direct and wholesale, but I have also started a couple of private label brands on the side as well. So I'm going to be giving you a full in-depth overview of basically my thought process on private label, and actually helping you guys understand private label a little bit more, the pros, the cons to it, and just my overall thoughts. So for those of you who are maybe new to the Amazon space and are wondering what private label actually is, it's pretty much where you start your own brand on Amazon. So you'll do everything from start to finish in terms of the research and development for the product, the design, registering the brand, like the trademark, doing all the photos, the videos, the advertising, the listing descriptions, basically everything start to finish in building a new brand. So you're basically creating everything from fresh, as opposed to what we specialize in, which is actually the brand direct or the wholesale route, which is where we will sell already existing brands that are already selling and already have demand on the Amazon platform. So towards the end of the video, I'm going to share with you my experience with private label as well, and how I actually managed to start my own private label brand and what my thoughts are on it. Would I do it again? Has it been successful? And I'm going to be sharing the whole process with you. So the first thing you need to do before starting any business, whether this is Amazon specific, private label, wholesale, whatever it may be, you actually need to think, what are you looking to achieve out of starting this business? Like, I'm talking really dive deep and actually think to yourself, why am I starting? Like, what am I trying to achieve? And honestly, this is the most important step of them all, because I see way too many people just saying, I want to start a business, without truly understanding what they're looking to get out of it and why they're actually starting it in the first place. And then what happens is they jump the gun, they jump into any business model that they think will potentially work for them. And then really, it's probably not the right vehicle. So you've really got to actually establish what you're looking to achieve from the get-go. And that will basically determine what vehicle that you choose. You have to think of goal setting like setting a destination on your sat nav. If your destination is 400 miles away, it's filled with motorways, hills, it's probably not going to be the best idea to choose a push bike, right? Because yes, okay, you might get there, but it's going to take you probably days to get there, and it's just not the most effective or efficient way for you to actually get to that destination. And it's going to take you way longer than if you actually chose the correct vehicle, like a car, for example. Well, it's exactly the same in business. You need to ensure that the vehicle that you choose is actually aligned with the end destination that you're looking to go to. And you need to make sure that it's actually the correct vehicle to actually help you achieve those goals. But before you choose the vehicle, you need to have a destination set of where you actually want to go. Or in this case, you need to set the goal of what you're actually looking to achieve. Now, your goal and what you're looking to achieve heavily depends on what stage of life and what stage of business you're already at. I mean, like, for most people who are starting out in their business or entrepreneurship journey, or they're looking to start an online business, really their first goal is to probably get to 5 to 10K per month, so that it actually allows them to have a bit more freedom, probably leave their job, and that's probably their goals. So if you are at the start of your business and entrepreneurship journey and your main goal is to make that 5 to 10K per month, and you are starting to consider Amazon and private label, I would strongly suggest that you consider alternative vehicles. And I'm going to give you a ton of the pros and cons later on in this video, but I think there is a better vehicle for you to choose. However, if you are an Amazon seller and you're already doing maybe 100K per month in sales, and you're very experienced on Amazon, you have been selling on the platform for years like myself, then I definitely think private label can be a great business model. But I think it highly depends on your goals and what stage of the business journey you're at the moment. And this is why choosing the right vehicle at the right stage of where you're at in your business and your entrepreneurship journey, and making sure that those align with your goals, is so key. I mean, the same vehicle that gets you to 5 to 10K a month is likely going to be a different vehicle that gets you to 50K per month. And that's likely going to be a different vehicle that gets you to 100K per month. But that doesn't mean that you should go straight to the vehicle that's going to make you 100K per month, because you're likely not in the right stage of your life or your business journey yet to actually be able to facilitate that. I mean, look at software businesses, for example. Great business model. And I know a few people that are making millions and millions of pounds in profit every single year from their software businesses. But I know that they also had to invest probably 6 to 7 figures upfront of their own money to actually get the software business off the ground. And I also know that the complexities of actually building a software, developing the software, hiring and building out a team it's a very complex structure and it's not easy. So that's not the correct vehicle for somebody to choose who is just starting in their business journey and they're looking to make 5 to 10K per month. So when you're selling on Amazon, there is 3 main vehicles that you can choose. The first one is online or retail arbitrage. The second is brand direct or wholesale. And the third one is private label. So firstly, we have retail or online arbitrage. So for those of you who don't know what that is and are new to the space, online and retail arbitrage is basically where you'll go to the clearance section of a retail shop, the likes of TK Maxx, Argos, or you'll go to these online retail sites and basically scour through their clearance sections to buy and resell products that are on clearance. Now, I don't think this is a great business model at all, and I probably wouldn't recommend anybody starting it. Yes, you may find products with a bit of profit margin in them, but likely you can only buy 5 or 10 units because they're end of line and they're on clearance. So it constantly requires you to have more deal flow and just actually find new deals each and every month to get the revenue coming in. And I also think the barrier to entry is so low that it's just not a good business model. Now, that then leaves wholesale and private label. And to be totally honest, I think both of them are great business models. I've seen people make a ton of money from private label. I'm talking millions of pounds. And I've also seen people make a lot of money from wholesale. And again, I'm talking millions and millions of pounds. However, in my opinion, there is definitely a right time to deploy both of these strategies. So when it comes to private label, there is actually a lot of complexity that is involved with it. And there's a lot of different steps to the process, and it can be very time consuming and very capital intensive. So you basically have to come up with a new concept and idea and bring it to market. So you have to do all of the designs, all of the research and development, all of the sampling process, the photographs, the actual listing creation, so making sure all the SEO is optimized. Basically, there is a lot of complexity involved with starting your own private label brand. And this is all very time consuming and very costly. I mean, from start to finish, you're probably talking 6 months realistically if you want to do it properly, because all of these things take time. Even registering a trademark and registering the brand, enrolling it into brand registry, making sure the listing is set up correctly, making sure you have a storefront. There's a lot of different complexities with the private label business model. And don't get me wrong, yes, it can be a great business model. But if you're looking for that first 5 to 10K per month in business, I definitely don't think it's the right vehicle to use. So what I do think is the right vehicle is basically what I've been doing for the past 4.5, 5 years. Brand direct, wholesale. So brand direct wholesale is where we will buy off existing brands that already have product market fit. People are already buying and already searching for these products. They're already well established on Amazon. You don't have to do the listing creation. You don't have to import the products from China, and it doesn't take, 3 months to come over on a boat. It's very simple, a very easy business model. And in effect, you're buying and selling on a larger scale. So typically with brand direct wholesale, we can be buying from these brands on day one, and we'll be able to, start making sales within 10 to 14 days of actually being able to buy that product, as opposed to private label where it could take months and months and months. And there's no guarantee that it'll actually sell because you've got to do all the marketing. You're basically building a product and a listing from the ground up. So if you're looking to start an Amazon business and your primary goal is to make your first 5 to 10K per month, brand direct wholesale is the best vehicle to do that. I've got a ton of other videos on my channel that speak highly in depth on brand direct wholesale, how to do it, the different strategies, and basically a bit of context behind my journey as well. I'm going to leave a link in the description for a video that is going to show you the best way to get to 10K per month in your Amazon business. So if you're thinking of starting Amazon and you're at the start of your journey, definitely go give that video a watch. So if I was starting out in my business and entrepreneurial journey again, this is the exact pathway that I would use to actually achieve my goals. What I would do is I would start with brand direct and wholesale, and I would get the business to probably about 100K per month in sales, where you're roughly going to be making 15 to 20,000 pounds in profit per month. And what this is going to do is going to allow you to have a ton more freedom. It's going to actually help you achieve that first goal, which is to achieve the 5 to 10K per month that you're looking to achieve. And it's going to get you there in the fastest time possible. Now, once you get to probably about 100K per month mark in revenue in your Amazon business, and you've actually bought yourself a bit of freedom, you've built some systems, and you've got a really good understanding of the Amazon platform, that is when I would start looking into private label. And that's when I think private label is a good business model. And I think the strategy for most people should be to start with wholesale and build it up to a very good level and actually just help you achieve those initial goals. And then it buys you time, it buys you freedom, and you've got the free cash flow to use to actually invest into private label. And actually trial and error these things, because there's a lot more risk associated with private label. Yes, there can be a big reward on the back end, but it is a lot more riskier. So if you're using the free cash flow from your business that you're already making within the Amazon business, then it just makes the process way better, and it actually allows you to scale it. Because without that free cash flow, it's going to be very hard for you to start private label, because most of the time you have to put all of the cash up front to actually buy these products. So when you're buying from China and you're importing your own products, you'll typically have to pay for it on day one. So you'll pay for it on day one, and then the production time might be 30 days for the product. It then may go on a boat, or if you want to overpay for the shipping, then you'll put it on air freight. It's then going to take anywhere from 30 to 60 days to actually arrive with you. You'll probably have had to meet minimum order quantities to get a good price and a competitive price. So you've probably bought 3 to 6 months worth of stock. So realistically, from the point where you put that initial cash in, it's probably going to take you 8 to 10 months to actually get that cash back. And in the meantime, you're going to have to be reordering the products, because with private label, you can't sell out. You need to keep the momentum going at all times. So that's why I think starting wholesale first, getting it to a very sustainable level, and then using that free cash flow to actually be able to deploy in these private label brands and actually take more risk is the best strategy. And then the end goal for anybody who's doing private label really should be to build it as a sellable asset. Even if you have no intentions of selling it, you should always build it to sell. And what I mean by this is you should structure the business in a way that's actually going to be appealing for a buyer, and it's going to actually allow somebody to buy the business. Because you never know. You think that maybe now you just want the free cash flow and you want to build it to sustain your lifestyle, but one day your circumstances might change or your goals might change, and you may actually want to sell that business. So I would always build the business and build the private label brand with the intentions of selling. So as I mentioned earlier on in the video, we have actually started a few of our own private label brands ourselves. Now, I've been in the Amazon space for 4.5 to 5 years now, and I've built up my Amazon business to the point where a couple of months ago, it did a record month of almost £600,000 in sales in one calendar month. So I would say at the moment, we're about 90 to 95% brand direct wholesale, but about 5 to 10% of our revenue does come from private label brands. I definitely think private label is a good model. However, I think you've got to choose the vehicle wisely, and especially at the start of your journey, I don't think it is a wise vehicle. Wholesale is my bread and butter. I've been in it for pretty much 5 years now, and I've scaled it to a pretty good level, to the point where we've got warehouse, teams, systems. Like, it's a really great business, and it's definitely a very scalable business. Like, we're trying to get it to millions per month. I'm definitely looking to grow the private label side as well, but really wholesale is where the foundations of the business lie. So with that being said, if you are looking to start Amazon and you're considering a few different options, go to the description of the video and watch the video on how to get started and how to get your first 10K per month on Amazon. It should give you a really good indication of actually how to get started, and really a bit more of in-depth context on what brand direct is and how the business model actually works and how you can actually get started with it. So hopefully this video has been helpful in helping you understand a bit more context behind private label, why I think it's really important to choose the correct vehicle at the correct stage of your journey, and just understanding the model a bit better. But thank you for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.